How you manage those things? Like,
See, today social media is everything.
yeah,
And that is where, our employees, ex-employees, clients, prospective clients,
everyone is
competitors, everyone is
with
speaking in
that.
there. So, we have to keep a note in what is the pulse going on there, right? So, it is, if we don't,
You meant to say for the employee?
yes, of
Okay,
course,
got it. Yeah.
anyone, there is a comment or something, we have to be very cautious. And that is why I, mentioned initially, right, when we are discussing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the episode, the Leader Speak podcast. Today we have Mamita. She is from one of the seven sister of states from Assam. She's there from last 20 years experience in different industries as a HR, and she focus more on building connections. She's more into people person, and she's more enthusiastic learning, and she's focusing more on learning in AI. Let's dive in the conversation with Mamita. Hey Mamita, welcome to the podcast, the Leader Speak. Thank you so much for coming here. Let's start with the basic, like where you born, what is your education, what your parents doing. Could you explain to those?
Yeah. So thank you, Vasavraj. I'm very excited to be here in your show today.
Thank you.
And I hail from Assam.
Acha.
It's
Assam is basically a seven sister.
yeah,
They
it's
call now, right?
not distance to India. I call it a land of diversity.
Wow.
So I have learned certain values from there, which is, uh, helping me all through my life. So openness, then inclusiveness, then, how to dream big, then believing in myself. So those all are, very, very, very strong values which help me in my profession also in later.
Okay.
Both my parents are retired principals of school, and I have, an elder brother. I am also mother to a 5-year-old child.
Okay.
My husband is in the IT domain. I have been in Bangalore for again 20 years.
Okay.
Beautiful city.
Oh, that's great.
I love to be here. Personally, I'm very much interested was music, art, and sports. I learned classical music. I learned Bharatanatyam also. I think these all are very, things that makes me going when I'm not doing something related to professional. Yeah, that's about me.
That parents are both are school teacher, right?
Yes.
They were very strict to you initially when you were doing schooling.
I will not tell we were very strict,
Acha.
but what I liked in them is, especially my mother, she is very disciplined. So she put that, sense of discipline in us from early childhood. And then she is also very feminist. So she used to tell me, from childhood, whatever your husband does doesn't matter. You have to be financially independent. And being, seeing my mother and my other relatives, most of them working, also, set a standard for me that I also have to work. There was no other option.
Correct.
So I also, that's why, feel that I should also create the same legacy for my daughter.
Mm-hmm. Acha, you talk about feminist, right? Your mom gave a lot of discipline to you, and she's more into feminist. What do you take on that? Because there is a lot of people talk about feminists now, right?
See, that's a good question. My definition of feminism is different. I saw my mother, she's very hardworking. She always used to cook for us. She never, kept any cook. So I don't think as a female you should get something extra. What I mean by feminism is, the qualities of a female.
I mean, quality of the life of the female you're talking about?
Qualities of the, female, in every human, there is a female, part and then male part.
Yeah.
I'm going little deep here, the spiritual.
Absolutely, take your.
What are the female qualities I feel is the patience, then, able to, forgive people, then taking care of others, Many people think, these are weakness, the kindness,
Empathy.
empathy. Yes. I think this is a strength. Feminism is not going and shouting in rallies that I am feminist.
Great.
As a female, I feel we have more vision and more passions. Even if you say any relationship building, also, females can contribute more than the other gender. So, that way, I feel my mother taught me feminism in the right way.
That's going to help you a lot, right?
Yes.
In its profession, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I cry a lot, not when something wrong happens, but when I see a beautiful, movie, some touchy movies, I read a nice book. And many people will say, okay, you are a female, you are crying. But I feel that's what is, the empathetic me, the sensitivity I have within myself, and which is very much important for a HR professional also.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing. Now, my question is like, as you mentioned, HR, we have different kind of profession, right? And there's something is there that you choose as a HR. I would like to know what made you to choose only HR as a profession, not any other profession.
Okay. So I'll be very, truthful here. I never dreamed of being a HR from childhood. Uh, all my, my brother, my cousins, they all were engineers. So I was very good at maths. So maybe I thought I'll do that, but I was not very clear about it.
Okay.
So after, when I'm finishing my graduation, then I had a realization that I love to connect with people. That time I was exploring like what are the career options we had and all those stuffs. And unfortunately, I lost my father that time. So that time I was doing lot of, self-analyzing also that what I really want to do. And I was very close to him. So it was a deep loss for me. And then I realized that I will love to work with the people behind the machine rather than the machine. So that is the time I choose this profession.
Oh, that's
And it's a story now. I started as a HRBP. I worked with Hewlett Packard in my initial years. There I had a very good experience. I have been very hardworking throughout my career. I have, you know, um, risen through ranks. Like I have gained experience through my work, not only the theoretical experiences. And in my recent organizations, I worked as a head of HR. I led the full HR function for the company's India region. And I think I could help a lot of people, in connecting them towards their job. And I also could help a lot of people in, being motivated in like, so I can tell you one example. When I was in Delta, there was a junior, engineer, and he was very demotivated. And one day he got frustrated. He went to the head of department and said that I'm going to quit.
okay.
But he was very good in in skills.
Okay.
So head of the department asked me, "What do we do?" I spoke to him. I counseled him. I tried to understand what is actually bothering him. And then I realized that the his manager was very competitive person and very skilled. But the one problem was the people managing problem. They were expecting the same level of output from him,
Okay.
which is not, realistic, right? So I coached the manager also. I spoke to the head of the department. I created a mentorship program in this organization, and I assigned one mentor to him. And slowly, he was improving, and he was very engaged employee later. And very recently, one day I got a message from him, a thanks note where he said that he's been doing very good today and this is all he's doing. And now he is going to take another career decision. He wanted my input.
Wow.
So, these kind of things is very, very important for my, my life, because I feel this is the real award I get. The satisfaction.
So good about
Yes,
yourself
yes,
that you help someone who going in a rough patch or he can't take a decision that moment. You help in them.
yes, yes.
And now he got back after so many years, then he's thanking you. That's really, you be so satisfied yourself at what you've done.
Yeah.
You just help someone to grow.
That is why I feel HR is a very noble profession.
Sure, okay.
You have the opportunity to create values in so many people's life in an organization. Today's the definition of HR has changed. I was also board of director for my board of uh, this director member for my last company. And so I always told my team that we have to create that space for us where people respect us. They look at us as a partner where we are creating values for them, where you are solving the problems, where we are impacting on the business revenue, also impacting on employee delight. Yes.
Oh, that's really great. Thank you so much for sharing. And as you mentioned that connecting with people, that drives you, right?
Yes.
The purpose of choosing HR. Nowadays, I'm seeing a lot of I used to understand earlier people talk about HR or HR manager or like, now there is a CHRO, then some people called HR head, and some people called HR people and culture head, something like that. Is all this the profile are same or they given different names? I want to know that. Like,
See, there are always two things. One is designation, one is actually what the job you are doing.
okay,
So sometimes, depending on the companies, big company, mid-size company, the small companies, the designation and the skills map to it may little bit vary. But CHRO and HR head are almost same. There is not, much of difference. It is nowadays, yes, many companies are trying to, erase that human resource stuff. And then we are telling it's a people and culture division. So then the designation of the head would be head of people and culture, which is also very good, I feel.
that will be more connecting.
Yes,
Right.
you are more talking about because there is a debate always. Human resource is not resource. People comes up with a lot of things. They come up with They come in the work with emotions. They come with their so many perceptions and so many different human qualities. So it is about people. They are not only a resource. They are human.
And there is one more, HRBP that you talking about. You started your career as a
Yeah.
HRBP, that business partner, right?
Yes.
What is the role of that particular thing?
See, Dave Aldrich actually he created the concept of HRBP. So where he says that earlier if you see the history how HR came, right, it was initially only this administrative job, then it's kind of more operational, and now we move to a partnership. So what he says, HR has to create impact on business revenue also. Your job is to make the business successful. So that is where you are partnering with the business. You are helping them to, translate the business strategy in creating people systems, people capabilities, so that we can reach our this strategic goals.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. That is the main things. Okay.
Yeah. So if you see, I in my perspective, I feel HR, even a recruiter can also be a partner. How you do your work, as a how you think you are positioning yourself in the work, that matters. So I work as a partnership, and I am creating value overall, where I take more accountability, and I take the accountability on the utmost goal also. That is where I being a partner, right?
Got it. Yeah. Like, good, good. Yeah. I know from last 25 years, I'll be interacting more HR people. And there is a misconcept towards HR people, the employee side. They talk about HR doesn't have much work and he's like, he or she is a people pleasing person. Those kind of not. Because I do understand it's very important as a HR functional in any organization because they're going to build that kind of a culture and they're going to create that kind of a positive environment in the organization. Okay. Now the people are understanding what do you mean actually because as you mentioned BP, HRBP or other like people culture, those things. Still, it is there that kind of mindset in employee or they looking into different now?
Maybe few employees were thinking that way. See, sometimes some of my teammates will come and say that HR is a thankless job. But it is up to the department also how you position yourself. So I saw many HR, sorry, they don't market. But as a HR leader, I always used to market the job HR does. It is like this, until you go and tell people what you have done, how they will know. So basic thing is that you have to also connect with people. It is very, very important. And that is where today's the definition of employer branding has also changed, right? Earlier it was traditionally, it was, kind of where the companies advertise their jobs. But now it is not that. It is, when nobody is watching, how your culture is, the feeling, how the feeling of culture is there. How is your employees experiencing what their experience? How is the tone of the LinkedIn? How is the Glassdoor reviews? So that is where it is very, very important to create a proper people system which results in employee delight. Then tomorrow our employees will be our advocates and our promoters. So it is very, very important to connect with people more and to make the real changes. It's not just the checklist you will do. To understand the real problems people are facing, and as suppose you have a problem, and if I solve you the problem for you, we will never forget, then you will understand the value. Absolutely. So I think the time has come. We have to change the mindset by creating more values and as well as communicating more with the employees on that part.
You mean to me that you should add more value to the employee through communication, proper communication, right?
You should add the real values to the employees,
Sure.
as well as you should also communicate to the folks,
Okay.
right? Then only they will know what you are doing.
Okay, great. I understand. Yeah, and one of the point you mentioned is the employee branding, right? Onboarding things like you have a couple of years experience, and especially in particular that those areas. Can we highlight couple of examples or some strategies that how you change that employee branding or engagement, those kind of.
Yes. So that is what I was telling, no? So it is more about how you take care of your employees. And then tomorrow they become your promoter. So we cannot brand ourselves a very employee friendly, giving good employee experiences, and if in reality it's not happening, right? So first we have to do the work on that part. That is very important. So when our people we believe in our values and our brand, then world will follow. Yes, and to create that, we have to do a lot of things. So first thing I can tell is about internal communications, right? More communication, especially if I'm doing employer branding in the social media side. It should be having employee-led contents, not only leadership talks, right? And we also created a culture tab, a video series where leaders will, come and talk about values in the informal tone. So those things, helped us to create even for onboarding also. We transport it from a checklist to culture, welcome. Where nowadays we are connecting with, employees even before they join us. We send them the employee handbook. We send the video series, small videos where we talk about the culture, the values of the companies. That is very important. We, make the goodies with merchandise brands, give them a very good welcome, giving a, very good this communication throughout their journey from the, interview till they join us, even after that, of course. And so those things are important. And as well as what we used to do when we give induction, we don't only talk about processes and policies. We also talk about, the do's and don'ts in the company, the values, the culture of the company. This is very important, so that they connect with us from the day one.
Okay, okay. But do you have any real time strategies or real time experiences you change that those kind of things in any organization, you want to give some highlight those practical experiences to you from your end.
Yes, yes. So one of
Maybe not taking the name of the
yes,
organization,
yes.
we can just give that the audience can understand more. They can more relate to those kind of examples that.
Yeah. See, in one of the organization, here I joined as a HR, and then I realized the first day that the entrance area, right, it was not looking very corporate, right? So then somebody, introduced me to the onboarding person, and then that person gave me some forms and left me in the room. Like I felt, like I felt very unwelcome. But then at the same time, I felt no, I have joined here as a HR leader, and this is my job to change the culture. And that time I realized how important it is for a person to get a very good welcome at the first day. And then what I created, first I said that the first impression is very important. When someone is coming, greet them with a, bouquet. I also created, this goodies with water bottles, their names written on that. Sure. One flask is very personalized way of, yeah, welcoming them in the organization. Then creating some ice breaking sessions where we can connect some fun games where they feel good. And also what I did, even in my last few organizations I have done that, I created online forms and I got those forms filled before they join, so that it doesn't become monotonous for them in day one that they are only filling forms. And then creating a buddy program with a 30, 60, 90 days timeline, which was very helpful for the people. They always cannot come to HR or go to their managers. There are many things. So this buddy also helped us, the transferring the employee culture values to the person and helping them in day to day, life. So this was very helpful. That buddy program also. And then we did multimedia sessions on the onboarding, made it more, today we have a lot of tools in AI which helps you. So we made it more engaging. We created, in my last company, it was in aerospace domain. So starting from all the communication, I worked with the, my marketing team, and then we created a communication which reflects the domain we work, something related to the onboarding ticket, the frame of the this mail, onboarding mail was in that format, which gives a sense that you are going to that kind of domain. I think that created a lot of difference in connecting the people
Yeah.
from day one. Yeah.
Great, great. And nowadays there is the social media is one of the more active things that anyone can come and talk about any organization. And as a HR, it's very important to have that internal communication, okay? Because something is gone wrong with the employee, definitely he want to talk about more in all social media. That company is not that we didn't get that much what they promised. These kind of situations going to create, right? And I know a couple of people are done in social media, maybe in LinkedIn, especially LinkedIn, because all the HR or business professionals or people going to be in LinkedIn. This kind of situation, how are you going to manage? Because as you mentioned, internal communication is very important. And saying that these kind of things also going to happen as a HR, right? Because you need to take care of things are not something going wrong with them. That's all. How you manage those things, like.
See, today social media is everything.
Yeah.
And that is where, our employees, ex-employees, clients, prospective clients,
Everyone.
competitors, everyone is
Everyone.
speaking in
Right.
there. Yes. So we have to keep a note in what is the pulse going on there, right? So it is, if we don't,
You mean to say for the employee?
yes, of
Okay,
course.
got it. Yeah.
Anyone, there is a comment or something, we have to be very cautious.
Correct.
And that is why I, mentioned initially, right, when we are discussing that when employees are taken care well in the organization, right? And when we do the branding, right, we tell them don't market the organization, tell your journey. And when they share your journey, right, and when you tell them in this way, this shifts the energy level. That brings the genuine energy. And this is where it is very important to have a good connect with employees, understanding their pulse. We do, employee surveys, ENPS, we do sensitivity, check in. We have to, go in lot distance to connect with employees and understand the pulse. And we have to solve the issues before this goes viral.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But do you have any bad experience that can happen in your life? Last 20 plus years? Someone has done like that in social media?
No, no. No, I never had, but one incident where it could happen and I stopped it.
Wow.
So I understood, and so wherever I go, uh, one thing I have very good connect with people. Starting from my first company till now, any employee who has worked with me, right? Uh, I have always created the good relation first, because I think as a HR, people will only open up when they have trust on me, when they understand my genuinity, right? So for me being HR, my personal values also make a lot of difference. So the integrity. So slowly they understand and then they open up, right? So one incident happened, and sometimes in anger they will say, "Okay, this doesn't happen. I will go to social media." Oh, so then I have to understand the problem, and I have to give a right solution to the problem. So fortunately, this never happened to me. Whatever organization I have worked, and
Good. Thank you.
yeah. And what I will suggest, if anybody is commenting it also, that is where the communication in social media is important. So you have to then counter it with the proper genuine logic.
Acha.
Right.
Okay. Okay. You need to respond that one, right?
Yes, of course.
Acha.
Because we need feedback. Feedback is very important, both negative and positive. Mostly negative feedback, sometimes it gives you an idea about your blind spots. What I don't know, right? This is very important. That is where, taking care of employees are very important. And that today is right. Any organization I work, I always try to create that people first culture.
Acha.
Yeah.
Okay. That's very important.
Yes.
Yeah.
So if you see, the branding for the company doesn't happen from HR department. It comes through the shop floor, the canteen, and how your employees are talking to their extended network,
Correct.
their friends, their families, their ex-colleagues.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's very important. Yeah.
That's
No,
very
yeah, yeah.
important. Yes. So that is where shifting the framework from just HR operations, we empathetic, and this employee people champion is very important.
Good. Yeah. And culture is very important. Okay. And for any organization, and you also came to Bengal 20 years back, right? And definitely, वहाँ पर उधर का culture and in South India, especially Bangalore, culture will be totally different. Let's talk about organization culture. Like, could you elaborate those areas when you came to Bangalore as a HR? What are the difficulties you face, and what is the importance of culture in organization?
Okay. Yeah. So I think I was a very lucky person. I got a very good welcome in Bangalore. Okay. I always had very good friends and acquaintances. From the day one, many people helped me, So I was like a junior. Many people helped me to, craft my CV, how to tackle interviews. And over the time, today, this is the city I know the best among the other cities. And I have so many good friends today, and that's an asset, right? The relations I could build with people over the years. See, culture is not a one of campaign. It has to be a program, a strategic program. There we have to capture the every moment where it reflects our values and cultures. And it is, again, when somebody joins, that is, I say, onboarding is why so important. Because everybody has to understand the organization culture before they join us. And that is where everybody is hurrying to deliver something. It binds us, right? Now, creating a culture, it has to be done in multiple ways. So, as HR, we take lot of interventions to, or to do it. Like I can say, share as example, we did a value campaign in one of our my previous organization where I work. So there, we created, posters, the multimedia contents, and before that, actually, we get a, strategic meeting with the leadership team to understand the values which are there. Is it updated? Do you want to make any further changes there? And we had a discussion. Then we, seal on that, and then we made a, processes, policies, which shows that this is our organization values. We then created the campaigns, and we have made lot of quizzes, lot of contests, even the whole year, whatever, this HR, what do you say, the programs, like, the kind of engagement activities and all, whatever we have done, this all was, reflecting those values and cultures. It has to be repeatedly done, and culture is always top down. So the leadership has to first show the values that they show in their everyday action, they show in the decisions we make. Then only other people also will follow. So this is very important.
Okay. Okay. Now you're talking about culture. Let's say in any organization there are different kind of age group with different experiences, work experiences, different cities they would have come. Then there are different religions. How are you going to manage all those things like as a HR? And it's very important as a HR role, because one is when you have a leadership strategy, that these are things, how are you going to communicate with them, and how are you going to balance each of them into your organizational culture?
Yes, that is where the communication craft has to be very customized. You cannot talk to a Gen Z and let them do the work, manage them in the same way how you do a millennial, right? So we have to understand. See, every generation has some plus minus. We always think that our previous generation also thought about us that no, this is not good, but we should not take it that way, right? How we engage them is very important, and there are certain things also we have to see. See, when we come in organization point of view, people are there from, different places, coming from different backgrounds, different culture. That is where it has to be like very important. It has to be a focus from day one, that they should understand the uh, house rules of the car. Like, for example, every home there is a house rule, right? So as a child, we always follow that. So whatever background you may come, you have to understand that in a corporate, how should you talk? And there are certain values, right, which has to be there, and that is there in every organization. Like respect each other, you know, and also to create a culture of gratitude, uh, saying thank you to each other. It makes a lot of difference. There are many companies when I joined, I saw nobody is even thanking anyone, and there is a lot of, blockage between one another. So what I started doing, even I have done in almost 3 to 4 organizations where I work, I created, coffee at the company, and where I used to, as a HR, we as a team, we used to take, say, 5 different employees are coming from different groups, different backgrounds, and tell, okay, today in the tea coffee break, this is the group will go together. It took us some time to create the, whole program, but it helped, where people were talking more to each other. They understood. We also created, a training called culture sensitivity training, because it's not about only India. I have worked in global companies, right?
Okay.
So it is about, how should you talk when the somebody is from other region.
Reason.
How there are differences, right? We create some, concepts, perceptions. Uh, we have our own cultural background from where we come, and it is not easy to, change our fundamental beliefs. But as a organization, we should know, when I'm talking to someone from other region, what is acceptable and not acceptable. Those things are very important. So that is where we, try to resolve the conflict, the problems, and all those stuffs. We have to create lot of sessions, which communication session, because how you should communicate something over, formal communication also is important. How should you write mails? Then I always tell people, mail is always dry. If there is some problem before writing mail, go and talk.
Yeah,
I think with the right,
that's the way to
yeah,
communicate. Yeah.
when you have dialogue with people, right, and you have this listening skill, that you really want to be listened, and then you try to understand and see it as a problem. So what I tell in the organization, where I go to my team, to all the employees, like, see it as an organization problem and how can we resolve it. Distance yourself from the problem. There is a problem which is hampering maybe you and hurting the other person, and we have to find a solution, because the diversity is our strength, right? How you navigate through it, this is where HR is very important. How you do the conflict resolution, how you navigate the diversity and harness them to achieve the organization goal. Yeah. That's where we build people capability, like, yeah.
Okay. For example, if you want to talk about, let's say, as a layman, I don't know the how to build a culture in organization. Okay. As a HR person, if you want to tell top three, let's say, first you need to focus here, second and third. What are those 3 points as a HR?
Yeah. So what I believe, in many companies, the culture is everywhere, right?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Whether you craft it or not. What I feel, we should, we should craft it. That we should say about it. We should be vocal about it. That this is our cultures, this is our values. Second point, I will say the top leadership. They have to be the promoters and advocates of the culture.
That's very important.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we created, small sessions, a 2-minute video series where they talk about our employee cultures. And it is also very important that you reward those cultures. Right.
Okay.
When, if we say this is our culture, that okay, team collaboration is the culture, and there is no reward or recognition related to team collaboration, then it will not work.
Yeah, I understand this. Rightly, you mentioned that the second point, leadership has to promote those culture. Normally, घर पे भी ऐसे होता है कि because of बड़े जो करते हैं, वो छोटे also सीखते हैं same, right? That's kind of things, because when you have a leadership, people going to talk about more on culture. Everyone to align those values, right?
Yes.
This is what understand, correct? Yeah, that's correct. And as you mentioned, rewards, right? And in last 20 years, you done a lot of awards and recognition or any employee engagement. What are those strategies that going to help organization to overall growth of the organization, along with the personal aspiration also? When you give this kind of awards or rewards, how that going to impact the overall organization?
Yes, see, rewards and recognition is very important on organization point of view. So suppose you say, as a human also, right? When we get, some uh, thank you, or somebody says good job to us, we feel really motivated, very inspired.
Correct.
Even I saw in, small kids also, like for instance, my daughter, I can do her many work when I say, okay, if you do this, I will give you a star. So as a human, we always like it, right? Now, it is very important how you create a rewards and recognition program. It has to be little bit customized also. Like for one region, what will work, in another region it will not work. Like for Indians, what I see, it is from my experience, that as an Indian, we like to see some development, some upward development, like getting a promotion is very important for us. But in many cultures, they may not want it. They just want to do their job what they want. They are mostly like, this is my skill and I want to, upskill myself and I want to value add more. But maybe for me, the more important is to going to the next level. So the rewards has to be satisfying the employees. So any organization I go, I always have a question on the employee survey about rewards and recognition. What kind of rewards and recognition employees are looking for? See, if somebody is asking for mango and you give banana, it will not work, right? So we have to get the pulse of people. That is where surveys and I created, every organization I go Neelange and Converse are two, programs where we connect with people. We have skip level connects. So in the formal and informal connections, we try to understand what is the need, what can motivate my people. So that is where, and in rewards also, there will be monetary rewards, there will be other rewards. Like for example, after the appraisal period, I always used to do a gratitude day. So in appraisal time, you cannot satisfy everyone.
Correct.
So I remember in one of the organization, we kept a lot of balloons in one conference room, and you say thank you to someone writing something. Somebody says thank you for helping me to setting the organization. Thank you for fixing this bug. So these kind of things, and
This is for other employee.
yes,
Acha.
and these
Okay.
aims to create a momentum in the organization. That yes, and it is very important. Employees always want to stick to an organization where they're recognized and respected.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah. And you mentioned you do when you join a couple of organization, and you talking about you done survey, right? You done a lot of survey about what they required as a rewards, correct? Now let's be okay. You done a survey and they given couple of pointers. Okay, we looking these kind of products. Now it has to be approved by the management. Agree? Let's say the management couldn't approve that one. Like, no, this will be too expensive for us. We can't afford in this situation. Like, kind of things. How you manage those things? Because that's very important as a HR, because you'll be sandwiched between management as well as the employee. How you going to handle these kind of situations?
So I will tell you one thing. In my experience, I saw employees are never much big.
Okay.
As I told you, they want to be heard. They want to be recognized. They want a clear cut career growth path. Where I am going. They want to know that the big picture, showing the big picture. So these actually, motivates more to the employees apart from the other, that monetary or cash values. But yes, certain times we have to do a certain intervention, certain programs where budget constant comes, right? So HR has to be very data driven. I have to make the leadership understand why it is important and how it will create a business impact. And if I can do that, if I can convince the management on those parts, then I don't think it will be much difficulty, in this.
Okay. But yeah, that's very important. You need to highlight the impact on the
Yes,
organization.
you have to show data that why it is required and what is the gap today. And if we do this, what is the result the business can expect from this? And it has to be in terms of numbers, the gross margin number, the productivity number, the employee happiness index. Because we have to even, that is why HR is a very good marketing person also. And we have to go and, we are also a salesperson. We have to go and negotiate that, this, because see, employee happiness also have a implication on the customer happiness. And we have a say, right? No customer plus no workplace. Because when employees are happy, and I believe one thing, when people are happy, they're very productive. You will never see a happy person who is not productive, right? So this actually employee delight creates a lot of value in terms of this organization, this margins. But that's why understanding the finances nitty-gritties for HR is also very important, especially if you're in a leadership role.
Okay, got it. As you mentioned, like employee happiness is very important, because that HR is basically look into that area, like employee happiness. Apart from monetary benefit, apart from rewards and recognition, what are the area you focus as when it's come to employee happiness?
Yes.
Because it's very important, right? Because maybe you're getting salary, but if you're not happy about the things, the employee is not happy about himself, it's very difficult for retaining those people. And when it's come to employee happiness, what are the other factor you look into that apart from these two, three things?
Yeah. See, for me, employees are my internal customers. So having a mindset, customer service mindset is very important. See, when we go to a client, we try to understand, right? So, as I said, listening is very important. Active listening, that what they are actually looking for. Then the more connect with employees, not only formal, informal, where you understand the real pulse going in the organization. Because most of the time I have seen the small problems eventually becomes big problem. So resolving them in the beginning part only, it creates a lot of difference. Then creating a very transparent processes and policies in the organization where they understand that uh, they have faith in the organization. Trust is very important. If you lose trust, you cannot create any professional or personal relation. So the trust in the employer, the organization, creating this trust, we have to create, we have to uh, uh, walk the talk, right? We have to do what we say, and we should not commit anything which we cannot do. So this balance is very important. Then they know that you are transparent and you really interested to understand their problems and resolve it. You show activeness, proactiveness in resolving their problems, and you try to create programs which is really helping them, not because I want to do it, because they want it to be done. This is very important, right? And it starts from very small things. No, understanding, okay, this is what is bothering them. What is the challenge? Not only for employees, even for leadership. How can I help you to achieve your goal? What are the roadblocks you have? It is my duty as HR to make their lives smooth, right? And those, it is all experiences, and vibe is very important. I have to be genuine. If I say something and I don't feel it, human is very intelligent. They understand it. Then the trust will not come.
You're correct. Yeah.
Right. So the genuinity, the integrity is very important to build a trust with people.
We need to build trust that one.
Yes. They have to understand. And you have to be very, transparent. So if something is not good also, you have to tell, and you have to tell why. Suppose if company is going through a, rough patch,
Yeah.
you should communicate to employees and tell them what are the problems you are facing, and you can also involve them to say, "Okay, this is the solutions we have thought, and what is your suggestion." You have to involve them in the journey, right? And I have seen the organizations who does that, right? Employees stick to them.
Yeah. That,
Yeah.
no, that's very
Yes,
valid point what you're mentioning. And should be honest and be transparent with the
of
employee.
course.
And definitely they're going to support
You-
100%.
you see, people understand why. What I give you experience, you will never forget that.
Correct.
My words can be anything. Experience,
It's very
it is,
important.
it goes into our day.
I agree on that 100%. And when you're talking about employee happiness, when you talk about awards and recognition, develop culture and all, and it's very important learning. Okay, and so let's say the employee who is going to join you with you, and you know that these guys are very talented. You don't want to lose any time, and learning is one of the part that what kind of learning you want to them, because you need to upskill them also. That's very important in present era, because if you don't upskill yourself, you'll be left out. And as an organization, as a HR, is very important to help them to upskill their in related to their subject. What do you take on when it's come to learning and upskilling those people? Like,
Yeah, see, every HR strategy has to be tied with business strategy. So it transcends from there. So we have to understand that what is our business strategy. Suppose if the company wants to tap into a new domain, right? So as a HR leader, we have to know, do we have the right skill, right? Then we have to understand, okay, we have this skill matrix, right? So we have to understand that is there is somebody already has some of those skills, and if somebody is not having enough work, can we also involve them and upskill them for the future skills? So it has to be always, as I said, proactive. We have to understand where the company is going and what are the skills required to deliver those jobs. And apart from this, also soft skill training is very important. How do you the employee communications? How do you talk? I said culture sensitivity. Even for we do this post training. So I have seen many companies, they just create a boss document and give it. It will not work. So when I joined in one company, I saw a lot of it was not really post, but they came with a lot of complaints which is related to those. Then what I did, I created a policy, I created a training with external trainer, and I created a again policy awareness on this. And we saw, it came all the complaints came almost zero. I mean, people first you have to train them, right? Then you have to make them understand that this is what is expected. And then you can tell them, okay, you didn't do this. If you don't tell people, if you don't train them, then we cannot tell that you didn't follow it, right? And similarly, it's like, when we give our driving this license exam, right? We have a theoretical part, no, where they will say this is the rules and all, and you have to pass that. It is very important. Then the police can come and tell, see, you have the license, means you should know about all those things. And for learning, it has to be very customized also. That is why, I am a
Customizing in the sense individual.
yes, and now AI tool is helping in that, right?
Yeah, okay.
It has to be in, see, for every employee, even in the same level also, their level of, the skill level, the compatibility level may not be same. So nowadays, AIP is helping us to customize based on the person's performance, the current skill level, and where we are going to put them in future, the future projection. So this is the kind of help we are getting with AI tools nowadays. The customization is also very important. Doing it in the right way. The training need analysis, doing it in the right way. Also, it has to, be tied with organization, this goal. It has to be in delivering the purpose, right? And in the meantime, employees also had to be this IDP, this individual development program, especially for the top talent. It is very important. This is where you will see less turnover and people are more engaged to the organization. Yeah.
But who will identify those skills you require? Let's say you have a bunch of people, okay? Who will identify, okay, these people need this kind of learning?
See,
Is it the team leader going to choose or the department head of going to do it? Who will going to take care of that?
no, see, every organization can have different kind of, HR organogram. In big companies, they will have L&D divisions also.
Yeah,
So in
yeah.
mid-size companies, like most of the companies I work, I had a L&D team.
L&D, okay.
So what we do earlier in previously, right, we used to do this training in mid analysis, especially in appraisal. This performance management is also very important that way, where we say, okay, what are the goals will be there for this person in future? What are the skills required? And then we gather those, then we understand, we discuss with the department head that what is really required to achieve the department goal. Because somewhere, see, I can ask 100 things, but to do any training intervention, you need numbers, right? If you call external trainer. But nowadays, as I said, AI learning, AI is, becoming, it's a augmentation and so happening with learning and development. It is helping us to know the individual's development need. And we have certain tools, it is coming where we can, use those tools to understand the need, and we can also, create the development programs for them, which is customized to them.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And is it true that AI is taking up a job of so many people? And I'll be having a lot of people that know AI has come now. We're not sure that we're going to continue the job or not. And there is a lot of things happening in the news also. Is it true that AI is taking up the job of the individuals?
See, I don't personally think, AI will take any job. See, we had once computer revolution happen.
Yeah.
But did computer take our job? No. Maybe some jobs will be obsolete. Earlier they used to hire this Excel experts in the junior level,
Yeah, yeah.
analytics. That may not be required now, right? But I see a more of a augmentation tool, right? Where it is helping me to deliver my job, even both personally, professionally, in a more efficient way and saving my time. So this time I can utilize for more strategic work. I can do more networking with employees. I can add more values. For example, like see if I have to create a PPT, right? That is the place I don't want to be expert in that. But as a leader, I want to communicate in an effective way.
Correct.
If the tool is helping me to do that, I can do more work on the research and the craft making, right? So, and especially for experienced people, I don't think AI can replace them because it is also important to have experience to use a tool. Suppose I create a policy through AI, right? I also have to have the knowledge because AI has bias, AI has hallucination, and still it is in developing phase, right?
Yeah.
So there may be certain things which are not correct or which is not appropriate to my organization. I should have the knowledge and experience to understand. So I can use it as a tool, but it cannot replace my expertise.
That's true.
I hope I have
Yeah, absolutely. That's what it's very important to upskill yourself because
Yes.
once you equip your skills of AI or any other technology, definitely going to be more confident about yourself.
Yeah, then I will add you one point here. So recently I went to a college and I was giving a session to the the fourth semester students, and there I told them that you have to. I shared some tools with them which they should learn.
Okay.
And what I told them, see, this AI tool is new. Here, you and I all are kindergarten students.
Okay.
So, in terms of CLND and other functions, you can see people who are much experienced.
Got it.
But if you put focus and effort here, you may be more experienced in this sector than many of the seasoned HRs, and this can be your edge in finding a new job and creating value in new
That's
organization.
true. So that's very important. I think normally as an individual, we keep a lot of goals, right? When it come to career goal, when it come to relationship goals and finance goal and all. I think we should also focus on learning goal also.
Of
That's
course.
very important because
Yes.
when you focus on more learning things, your life will be more easy and you understand a lot of things what is happening and you'll be mastered in particular subject. That's what I believe in.
Of course. See, learning is a lifelong
Long
process.
Yeah.
And I am personally a big believer that. See, I have always, even not the big courses which I do, like now I am pursuing some senior HR leadership course on Excel, right? I also every day learn. I use, this LinkedIn learning. I use, I am doing lot of AI HR courses. So there are, today it is very easy, to upskill yourself. And I saw recently, some of the, business leaders also told the new education will be, lifelong learning, where you will do self-development through learning. And I personally will every sector of my life I learn. I even learned from a 3-year-old child also. So we have to have the growth mindset and open to learn new things. Sakshi. I have learned so many things from people around me, right? And I always feel that what I am today, tomorrow I should be somewhere better than that. I have to, master on the habits part where I become a better person and I create more value towards my personal life, my family, my friends, my organization, and as a whole towards the organization and the nation, right?
I love that growth mindset because you should have a growth mindset rather than you have a fixed mindset. So growth mindset, when you have growth mindset, you going to open up a lot of opportunity for yourself.
Yeah, and I'm a
Yeah.
person, if from childhood, if something comes, wrapped in newspaper, I will, if I see something interesting, I will read that also.
Acha, acha.
Yes.
No, that's
So I
really good.
love, learning and I know learning new things, and that's why I am very fascinated about the AI. What are the I have seen when I use the tools, it's very effective, very helpful, and I think if we can use it in the right way, right, it can create miracles for us. It will make us very effective as a human. Yes.
But you done a lot of classical dances, some courses. You learn right classical dances or
Yes. Yes. Yes.
you practice still or
I practice music,
Yeah.
practice dance also, and yes,
That help you to the energy will be different, right? You
yes.
said a bit.
See, as I said, I am always student. So before coming to Bangalore, I didn't do much of cooking because my parents always motivated me for, apart from education, go for sports, go for music. And my mom is like, when time will come, we'll do it. But one thing they did, they made our fundamentals strong. She created the growth mindset in me, and also we had the values, how to respect people, how to respect elders, all those values, the fundamentals, when it is strong, right? I feel in future, it's kind of, it will grow. It is kind of when you put 0 over 0 and 0 on 1, right? So more zeros, so after 1, so always is like creating lot of values. So even, when I came to Bangalore, and then when I started staying, I shared, room with one of my roommate when I was working. I learned cooking through, YouTube and Google, and they actually teach me, and I am the very foodie person, as a Bengali also. So I love to cook. And I learned from colleagues. So if you say today, right, I know how to prepare South Indian dish, North Indian, even I know Mexican dish, I know, Mediterranean dish, because I always learn from people. I didn't learn from, one community of one person, right? So I think, that's the, spice I have added in my life. Yeah. So this is a very, layman point of view. But
Correct.
this says like how learning is important. I learned art of living also, and that's where I think, Bangalore a lot.
Acha.
I see people, one thing I like, people here, they're very humble. They don't, they are very knowledgeous. And every day, I think, I'm adding a lot of, um, I'm growing as a person through the learnings which I see. Yeah. If your mind is open, even a ant can also teach you a lot of.
Correct. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's what you're more into people person. What I understand from last couple of minutes. That's really good. Okay, let's close this podcast with top 3 tips from your end for the upcoming HR professionals. Like,
Okay. So if I say about 3 tips, first I will say, you do a self analysis why you want to be an HR.
self
So
analysis.
yes,
Yeah.
it is very important to understand that am I possessing the right skills to be a HR professional? And first, I will say, empathy is very important to be a good HR professional. Active listening, being empathetic to people. Uh, this is one of the core of a HR professional. Second thing is considering your, leadership, your team, your in employees as an internal customer is very important. Then when the customer service mindset is there, right, you will deliver more values. And third, I will say you should be always updating yourself and upskilling yourself, because HR, this um, knowledge is shifting, right? The companies, the organogram, the organization where HR is placed now, the kind of values HR is creating, it is very different than what used to happen with the 2 decades ago or somewhere. So you have to always upstage it. But now AI tools are there. Learn those tools. Learn how to use HR tools. How can you make a created digital transformation in the organization to be more productive, right? That is also very, very important. How can you make people's life easy through the tools and the HR systems? Creating a good system is also very important. And third thing is uh, work with the business. Your deliverables should create a real impact in the business, right? And you should always, uh, measure it, right? Measurement is the key.
Yes, yeah.
That what you wanted to do, how much you have done, and do a gap analysis, if any, and improve yourself. Taking, continuous pulse from leadership, from employees, taking those feedbacks through different ways, even anonymous feedback is also very important. To know the spot, right? What I don't know, I don't know. This is very important. See, I can know something, I can upskill myself. I don't know something, what is my area of improvement, how will I do that?
Correct.
For that, feedback is important. So take feedback, work on this, and be a genuine, HR professional. Whatever you are delivering, deliver with it, amplify with heart, not hype, because people understand your wife. That is very important.
Superb, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for sharing. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mamita. It's been great conversation with you. There's more personal touch, like more you are more people person. I love that things. And this is our small gift from Sustainable Gift for you.
Thank you,
And
Vasanraj.
thank you so much for coming here.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much for your time.
Thank you for this opportunity to talk to you. It is my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Here are my 3 takeaway from this episode. The number 1 is internal customer. You treat your employee as an internal customer. That's very important because that's going to give a lot of communication. Like employee, if you're not happy about what you guys are doing, that's going to help him to build that kind of communication systems. And once you become a treat them as an internal customer, the mindset will shift from employee point of view to the directly the customer. This is my first takeaway. The second takeaway is culture. It's very important. Any organization, the leadership team has to promote more on culture. By doing such things, the down the level people, maybe blue collar or white collar or mid management, everyone to accept that promotion, what the leadership going to talk about, and everyone align their culture mindset. My third step will be connecting people. It's very important because as a HR, not only HR, you take any organization, like any department wise, you need to connect people very well. That's very, very important. Maybe if you're sitting in a higher position, even though you need to understand the need of other person, you need to know what the person is going through in his life. If you're going to connect with a very honest and transparent, that's going to give more good in the relationship. You're going to build that kind of a bonding together. These are my 3 takeaway from this episode. If you like this episode, please do share with your friends and show some love by clicking the subscribe button. See you in the next episode.